everyone, it's Maddie and me, and today we're going to be doing our February book haul. Quite a lot of these books we received at the Scholastic Blogger Brunch, so we look forward to sharing some of their titles with you. First we have The New Boy by Paula Rathsthorne. This is kind of a Wuthering Heights retelling. It's a dark, twisted romance between Jack the new boy and Zoe the protagonist. Weird things start to happen once he arrives, and Zoe is unsure whether she can trust him, but she soon starts to fall for his charms. This one sounded really exciting and exactly the kind of thing that we would really enjoy. Although Wuthering Heights is my least favourite classic, I'm really looking forward to this reimagining. Next we have Oh My Gods by Alexandra Shepherd. I read the first couple of chapters for this after Yelk last year, so I'm really excited to get my hands on a finished copy. It's all about Helen, who is half mortal, half god, living with her godly family in East London. I'm sure there are going to be lots of hijinks as she tries to balance her double life, and I'm really excited about it. Next we have The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali by Sabira Khan. This is the story of Rukhsana, a Muslim teen living in America, and she has a secret girlfriend, Ariana. Then she's discovered kissing Ariana and she's sent to Bangladesh, where she has to face family traditions and an arranged marriage. I can't wait to read this story. The chapters are so short, so I think I'd be able to get through it in one sitting. It sounds exciting and heartbreaking, and I haven't read anything about a teen straddling different cultures in quite a while, so I'm really excited to read something from a new voice in the genre. Next we have The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. This is a feminist Little Mermaid retelling, and it's actually a book I got from the library, and then I finished it literally the day before we went to this event, and this was in the goodie bag, so I'm really happy to own a copy of it. The way the story was interpreted through a feminist lens felt sharp and intentional, and I'll definitely be recommending it. Next we have Noah Could Never by Simon James Green, and this is the sequel and final book in the Noah Grimes series. I'm yet to read Noah, but Maddie really enjoyed it, and Simon is a person I always enjoy on whatever panel he's on. He's such a charismatic person. He's so funny, so I can't wait to read his books. He was also there repping his new release, which is Alex in Wonderland, which is about a boy who falls in love whilst working at a theme park, and that sounds absolutely delightful. Next there's Becoming Joe by Sophie Mackenzie, which is a retelling of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. We haven't actually read the original, but it's one of the classics that I'm absolutely dying to read, and recently the Penguin English Library released an edition so we can get that to match all of our other classics, so I'll definitely have to read that first in order to appreciate how well this probably is written. And this was another really coincidental thing because I'd read my first Sophie Mackenzie book just before the event, which was Girl Missing, so I'm excited to see what she's like 10 years later. Next I have City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. This is her foray into middle grade. It's the story of a girl who can see ghosts, and it's set in Edinburgh, and then I think the second book is set in Paris. I read 50 pages of this at a bookshop once whilst I was waiting for Maddie after work, and I liked it, but I thought it was something I'd probably read from my library, so I'm really pleased to have a copy to add to my collection because I have basically all of her other books. The font's pretty big, so once again I think it's going to be a one-sitting read and something I'll probably save for a read all day or some kind of readathon. And the last book from the event was Lightning Chase Me Home by Amber Lee Dodd. This is all about Amelia, who's been writing to her mum who's been missing for over 700 days. The blurb has left it a mystery what the actual plot of this book is, but the PR information at the beginning says that Amelia is a dyslexic character, and I'm really excited to see that because I don't think I have before. Next, from Anderson Press, we received Courting Darkness by Robin Lefevers. This is the first book in a new trilogy in the Hisbear Assassins world. I love the trilogy, although I don't own them physically. I read them all on my Kindle, but now they are re-releasing them in these covers, so I'm definitely going to have to get my hands on the first 3 books eventually, and I'm probably due for a reread before I get round to the 4th book because I can't remember exactly what happened in the 3rd, but the 3 main characters are so iconic to me, and I'm pretty sure this follows Sabella most prominently, and she's from book 2 and she's my favourite. I can't wait to share this series with Maddie because it's probably one of the only ones that I have read that she hasn't, so hopefully we'll get to do a reading experience video together. From Stripes we received Proud, the LGBTQ+ anthology edited by Juno Dawson. This features a bunch of authors and artists that have collaborated on stories on the theme of pride. I'm most looking forward to reading the story by Simon James Green just because I've read a short story based in the Noah universe and I thought he did really well in that short format, but there are a bunch of other authors, both favourite and new, that I'm excited to discover. Stripes have had a tradition of having about 1 anthology a year, and we've enjoyed the previous 2, so I'm sure this will be no exception. And we also got to see the book cover getting revealed at Yale, and we've been hyped ever since, so this is definitely one that we've been anticipating more than the others. We've just got our fingers crossed that there's an ace story in here somewhere. Next is The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tacholk. This was on the Waterstones Buy One Get One Half Price table a couple of months ago, and we hesitated to pick it up so many times, but eventually we just decided to go for it. It's a fantasy about a group of women who are kind of like Valkyries. Their job is to be assassins, and only women are able to fill this role. I'm hoping this will give me Sky in the Deep vibes, which is a book I read last year by by Adrian Young and absolutely adored. Next we have Sever by Lauren De Stefano. This is the third book in the Chemical Gardens trilogy, and we came across this one really strangely in one of our local supermarkets. They were selling it off for 50p, and we'd never seen a book like this, especially one that's so outdated. Normally it's only recent releases that are in supermarkets. It's also a hardback size paperback, so it perfectly matches with Wither, and now I've only got one book left of the series until I've got it completed. This one is like Matched and The Jewel in that it's a series that I really love, even though not very many people have strong opinions about it, especially good ones. But I really liked the concept, so I'll hopefully be rereading it. This month we also picked out some books from our library. My pick was The Future of Us by Jay Asher. This is all about Josh and Emma in 1996, who discover their online profiles from 15 years in the future and don't really like what they're seeing. I think it's going to be a story of them trying to alter the future by changing their present, but the thing that drew me to this the most was the dual perspective between a male and female, as that's what me and B are writing right now. I think it's also going to have some interesting things to say about the impact of social media and how those websites are affecting how teenagers act. Next I have The Twisted Treat by Rachel Bird, another one that I've almost bought for myself, but when I saw it at a library I was like, ah, perfect, I can support a library as well as reading this book that I desperately want to. This is the story of Martha, who can gather people's memories or just know things about them by touching their clothes, and very fairy tale-esque, she's on a mission to find her grandmother, only to find when she gets to her grandma's cabin that she's not there and a mysterious boy is in her place. The Little Dialysis is darkness, ghosts, romance and Norse myth. I honestly don't know that much about this book, but I like the idea of a standalone fairy tale-esque fantasy book, and I hope the vibes will be similar to The Hazelwood, which was a little bit too slow paced for me, so let's see if this is going to be action-packed. Then we also picked The Weight of a Thousand Feathers by Brian Conahan. I read The Bombs That Brought Us Together last year and thought it was something else really. He chooses such interesting things to write about, and this is no exception. It's all about Bobby, whose mum is in such intense pain that she asks him if he can help her to essentially end her life. It's all about how Bobby deals with that question and also knowing that it would affect his little brother, so I think this one will pull at my heartstrings and maybe bring out a tear or two. We've also had quite a bit of success at our local charity shops recently. The first book we acquired was Orange Boy by Patrice Lawrence. This is a UK YA classic. It won the YA Book Prize a couple of years ago. Maddie has read it and I am yet to read it, though I have read her sophomore novel, Indigo Donut, and I enjoyed that one. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get around to it, but it's just a nice little thing to add to our collection. My pick was Silence is Goldfish by Annabelle Pitcher. I read Ketchup Clouds by her a few years ago, but it's still a story that I really remember about a girl writing to someone on death row. So I'm hoping that this one is just as standout. It's about a girl called Tess who is mute, but she finds out that her father isn't her real dad, and so she's on a mission to find the truth. And the whole "your family is a lie" seems to be a bit of a theme with my reading this year, so hopefully this one isn't too cliche. And then we have Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is a classic story. I haven't seen the film, but I have watched quite a few video essays about it. We picked this one up in particular though because it is illustrated by Chris Riddell, one of our favourites. He used to own the Graveyard book. I don't know whether we unhoard that or if it's somewhere lurking in the library. Everything is a bit in disarray after the move downstairs, so maybe we will read this one along with the Graveyard book at Halloween. It seems like the perfect thing, so I'm definitely going to save it for that. It's also super short. So those are all the books we have to haul in February. Let us know if you've read any of them in the comments and which ones we should be prioritising. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Don't forget that we post bookish videos every Sunday, so subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MaddieandB, and those links are always in the description. We'll see you next time.